My man Keith Truth is bringing the scholarship, bringing the solid argumentation against the concept of a papacy first found in the book of Romans and in 1 Corinthians. And I've kind of had this in the back of my mind to do a video about this for a while. About a year and a half ago, I did a video. Now, I'll put a link to it in the info bar. Was there a pope in the early 2nd century? In the video, I'll quickly summarize what I said. The evidence points to there not being a single ruling bishop in the city of Rome, in the Church of Rome, until after the 150s. Reason being, First Clement, which is written from Rome in around 80 to 95, the plural we is used rather than I. It is a letter written by a body of elders to the church in Corinth. Secondly, Ignatius writing to the church in Rome in around 106. Ignatius goes out of his way to mention bishop after bishop after bishop in all the other letters that he writes, and he has nothing to say about the Bishop of Rome, who is supposed to be his boss. Doesn't even salute him? I don't know. And then lastly, in around the 140s, Marcion, the arch-heretic, the arch-apostate, he made a sizable contribution to the church in Rome in about 140. And once he was found out to be a heretic, a synod of presbyters gave him all his money back. Now, it talks about a synod of presbyters, not a synod of presbyters ruled by a bishop. Now, if there was a bishop in Rome in 144, when you tossed Marcion out on his rear end, and you were given back a huge sum of money, wouldn't you want to be there overseeing that meeting that bounces an arch-apostate out of the church? I think I would. Well, I just want to offer just a little bit more information concerning there not being a single bishop in the Church of Rome until at least after the middle of the 2nd century. What we have here is the Shepherd of Hermas. This is a book. This is a vision, I guess, had by a gentleman named Hermas, and is written in Rome. Let me just show you. He who brought me up sold me to one road river in Rome. Many years after this I recognized her. I began to love her as a sister. Sometime after this I saw her bathe in the river Tiber. So this is a Roman book. Okay? That's chapter 1. I want to go to Vision 2, chapter 4. See what Hermas talks about here. And again, this is written around maybe 135 or thereabouts. Now, a revelation was given to me, my brethren, while I sleep, by a young woman of comely appearance, who said to me, "Who do you think the old woman is from whom you received the book?" And I said, "The Sibyl." I'll admit that this is a bizarre vision. There's a lot of unusual symbolism in this. You're in mistake. It is not the Sibyl. Who is it then? It is the church. And I said to him, "Why is she an old woman? Because she created first of all. On this account she is old." Blah, 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 blah. So, he says, in this vision, it is told to him, "And Grappat will admonish the widows and the orphans. But you will read the words of the book in this city, along with the presbyteros," the presbyters, "who preside over the church." They rule plurally. The presbyteros preside plurally over the church. I also want to look at vision. Oh, I believe it is vision 3, or is it vision 4? Let me see here. Here's my master notes here. Vision 3:9. Here it is. Okay. Vision 3:9 talks about, okay, going down here, pardon my disorganization. This is a vision where Hermas is chewing out the people who preside over the church. Now, the church in Rome. Wherefore I say to you who preside over the church and love the first seats, be not like the drug mixers, for drug mixers carry their drugs in boxes, but ye carry your drug and poison in your heart. You are hardened, you do not wish to cleanse your hearts. And to add to the unity of aim to purify the heart, purity to the heart, that you would have mercy from the great King. So what is he doing? Look at the quote here. You who preside over the church and love the first seats. That is fully indicative of presbyters, a plural leadership, squabbling amongst themselves, who is the real leader in the Church of Rome. If there was a vicar of Christ in Rome ruling over the entire church, I don't think there would be this much of a struggle. This is all further evidence that there was no bishop, no single ruling bishop in the Church of Rome. That's nice, Mike. I'm sure you have that opinion, but look at this. This is a book. This is Antioch to Rome, New Testament Cradles of Christianity. This is by Father Raymond Brown and John P. Meyer. This has the imprimatur on it and the nihil obstat, or however one pronounces that. This has the stamp of approval from the Catholic Church, from a bishop, saying this is free of heresy. These are Catholic scholars. Father Raymond Brown, I believe he sat on 3 pontifical biblical commissions. This is page 202, talking about Ignatius being sent to Rome. Let's see here. It says the church is preeminent in love. And here's what they say. No single bishop is mentioned at Rome, probably because the church still had the twofold structure of presbyter bishops and deacons. So even these gentlemen are admitting that, yeah, the historical evidence does point to there being a plurality of elders ruling the Church of Rome. They also say, get page 162 up. Let's see here. Unfortunately, it's only part of the, you don't see the rest of the quote on page 163, so I'll have to show it on the Beggar's All blog that does have the whole quote. An older generation of Roman Catholic scholars assumed that the single bishop practice was already in place in Rome in the 90s or earlier. They opined that as the fourth pope, third from Peter, Clement was exercising the, let me get the rest of the quote on Beggar's All, that they have the quote up. Just a moment. Okay, was exercising the primacy of Bishop of Rome in giving direction to the Church of Corinth. The failure of Clement to use his own name or speak personally should have called the theory into question from the start. Were there not other decisive evidence against it? As the ecumenical book Peter in the New Testament, done by Roman Catholics and Protestants together, affirmed the connection between a Petrine foundation in the first century and a fully developed between a Petrine function in the first century and a fully developed Roman papacy required several centuries of development, so that it is anachronistic to think of the early Roman church leaders functioning as later popes. Moreover, the Roman episcopal list shows confusion. All of this can be explained if we recognize the threefold order of single bishop with subordinate presbyters and deacons was not in place at the end of the first century. Rather, the twofold order of presbyter bishops and deacons, attested a decade before in 1 Peter 5, 1-5, was still operative. Indeed, the signal failure of Ignatius, circa 110, to mention a single bishop in the letter to the Romans, a very prominent theme in his other letters, and the usage of Hermas, which speaks of plural presbyters, Vision 2:4-2, and bishops, Similitude 9:27-2, make it likely that the single bishop structure did not come to Rome till circa 140 to 150. And this is from this is from Catholic scholarship. Oh, well, it's liberal. Well, these guys, maybe, okay, if Brown, if Father Raymond Brown was such a liberal cowboy, why is it that numerous popes allowed him to sit on biblical pontifical biblical commissions? You know, even Catholic scholarship believes that there indeed was not a single bishop in the Church of Rome. Now, I mean, if my faith was built on the idea that Christ gave his powers to a vicar and there was always a vicar of Christ on earth, and then I'd also admit on the other side of my mouth that there wasn't always a single ruling bishop who was the vicar of Christ on earth, I don't know how much longer I'd be Catholic. Putting aside, even Catholic scholarship concedes this point. It's not just me as a Protestant with a chip on my shoulder trying to make this point. Catholics, what can I tell you? Please think this information over and drop me a line if you'd like.